Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alara Canfield Show, the Create Your Life video series, where we are talking about how to go beyond mediocre to infinite possibility, how we create our lives in the moment and day by day using some of the tools from Access Consciousness that some of our guests are using every day, regularly, all the time, with great success. And so we're going to share some of those tools, as well as some stories where we have experience using these tools. And please bring your questions. If you have questions that are coming up for you, just raise your hand, or you can write in the chat box and we will take your questions. And because, sometimes your questions bring out even more, more than I can possibly ask, right? So it's just so much more interesting. And today, my good friend, Kass Thomas, is here with us. And I'm so excited because, I met Kass long time ago, the first time. And for the past couple of years, we've been talking a lot, working a lot. I've been going to some of her classes, and she's amazing. And you will just absolutely love her. She is one of my dear friends, and I just adore her. She's so real. You'll see that in a moment. She's so real, and she has such integrity and such caring and compassion that you will just love her as much as I do. And she is an author, a coach, an inspirational speaker, and she's a facilitator with Access Consciousness. She was born in the US and then she moved to Rome almost 20 years ago. So how lucky is she that she gets to live in Europe and also travel around the world, because she is a successful business owner. She had been a film producer, and now when she's not traveling the world with her own business, with her own classes, she facilitates classes for Access Consciousness, right? And she also owns and runs a boutique bed and breakfast in Rome. I'm going to check that out one of these days. And so right now, part of what she does is she has a book called 7 Steps to Flawless Communication, which we will probably talk about a little bit here. 7 easy steps that invite you to change your life dynamically by communicating more effectively with your bodies, your lives, and your business. And Kass loves to ask questions. And so this is amazing because here we are, we're going to be talking about questions and tools and processes. So Kass is going to be sharing some of her favorite tools that she uses all the time. So you can read up more about Kass on the live page and in the email, but I'm just so excited that Kass is here with us. So Kass, welcome.
Thank you so much. That's great. I always love to hear these introductions because you're like, oh, yeah. Oh, is that me? Right. Okay. Because one of the great questions, right, of Access is, who am I today? Mm-hmm. Right. And who I am today is, in function also of what's going on in the world and today I'm also very much into empowering women. That seems to be, what's going on. And that's not that it's not a part of me always, but who am I today? That's who I am today. There's a new project coming up about women and empowering women and allowing women to really blossom and get themselves out there for them. But also, there's the Prince of England, who's about to marry a woman, and she's all over the news about the work she's been doing. And then I'm working with getting back into politics, and there's this whole thing about women. So that's who I am today. But it's nice to listen to you and say, oh yeah, I'm that too.
Exactly, right? And so we all are like that, right? We have different roles that we play all the time. Like today, for example, I'm being the host of this program, but there's more that I do, right? And I sometimes forget. So when you're asking yourself that question in the morning, who am I today, right? What does that bring up for you?
Well, you know what, all questions, and that's the beauty of the questions, all questions start to engage the quantum entanglements of the universe. So when you ask a question, every let's say part of your being, right? A part with quotes around it, that is engaged in something that is up for the universe, starts to come to the forefront for you. So who am I today is a bit like saying also, what are the elements of me today that are on the forefront, and that if I were to engage with them, would create more. For me now, and now is the time. It's funny, my niece, she's really my goddaughter, but let's say my niece, she was talking about on Instagram how she felt like she was just doing nothing, sitting around procrastinating, and she had a project and she should be moving on it and she wasn't moving on it. And I said, honey, that are you procrastinating, or are you waiting for the universe to reorganize itself to be able to accommodate, right? Open up the space so that your project can actually take wings. So it's the difference between a passive waiting, which is like sitting back, leaning back.
Yeah.
And when there's an opening, you have to get up and run and go there and do it, as opposed to actively waiting, which is like la-di-da-di-da, when the energy is right, when the moon is in the sky, when the opening, there it is, boom, you're ready. So that's a bit what that is like when I ask that question, who am I today? What pops up that requires my attention, that if I just gave it a little bit of energy in that day, would move that forward, would move that project forward, would give me more awareness. There's more access to information in that moment on that particular topic or that particular area. So all of that comes up, and it's not cognitive, right? It's not like you get a printout. Oh, here's who I am today, or here are the elements that are available in the universe today. And if you turn to the left, no, it's just like, okay, cool. And everything that doesn't allow me to explore that with joy and ease and fun. Destroy and then create it. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for the question.
Oh, I love that. And, and what it brought up, what it brought up for me was that means also that when you're actively waiting for the universe, you're being present and you're being aware of signs, messages, impulses. I'm trying to use different kinds of words for people that so that you recognize when it is the time.
Yeah. And sometimes, a lot of people say, oh, I missed an opportunity. You don't miss opportunities. I mean, you may miss an opportunity, but the possibilities continue to expand. So don't stop ever. Don't stop the flow, because that's like, oh, wow, sorry, universe. You'll have to work again if if that's really something that's for me. In the meantime, I'm going to continue and explore. And so sometimes we wait, we sit back on our laurels, and we get bored, and when we're bored, we are dangerous creatures. We really are.
Oh, yes. I think I've created, or my family has created, a lot of drama and trauma when we were bored. It's like, oh, who can I talk to because I'm bored? And then that brings up stuff. It's like, really?
Right, exactly. Or I'm bored. And then you've got, you're distracted by a little itching on your wrist. And what is that? Oh my goodness, do I have eczema? Do I have this? Do I have that? Oh, great. I've created some drama. Now I'm no longer bored. I'm just worried,
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, and that's the thing for a lot of us. And I think most of us who are on these types of calls, we tend to get bored. And it's important for us to ask questions such as, what can I add to my life that would be fun today? What other questions do you ask, Kass, to add more to your life so that you don't get bored?
Yeah, well, I haven't experienced boredom in a while. And
I know.
and one of the busy, but also because I realized, I'm not sure when, but I realized that boredom is also information. When you are feeling what we call bored, and everyone has a different way of that, of perceiving boredom or feeling bored. So what's going on here? There's a couple of questions. So if I were not choosing to be bored, what would I be aware of, right? And what is this boredom, this sensation of boredom? What information is it giving me about my environment? Some of the questions, is this really mine? Is someone else bored? I recognize, is someone else bored? Am I picking up on that? Or is what, the energy work and being aware of energy is so cool because it already gives you 100 different questions to ask. So what is this, and that energy of boredom may be that you're getting ready to step into an old routine, an old film that you've already produced, sold, flopped, bankrupt on, it on. So that's in recognizing the flavors of boredom. Is this that boredom where there's something that I could be doing that I'm not? Is this that boredom where there's somebody in front of me and they've completely checked out and there's no one home? So I'm like feeling all alone. Is this that boredom where, what is this? What's the information that this sensation of boredom is giving me? Or so what is this boredom about? Is it even mine? Is it someone else's? There's something that I'm avoiding looking at. If I weren't choosing boredom, what would I be aware of?
And I love how you brought in choice, because even that boredom, we're choosing it. And it's like, oh, I never thought of that we'd be choosing boredom, for, that's like, do I ever choose boredom? Yeah.
And the thing is that when we recognize, okay, this is a choice, sometimes I always say, slow down to move faster. Because a lot of times what we do is, okay, let me get busy and I won't be bored. But just give that boredom a moment, honor it for a second. What is this about? Right? How did I create this? So what am I aware of? And just give it a moment. It will dissipate if you address it. It's like a puppy that's, or barking. And then you finally give it a little bit of attention. What's up, honey? What's up? What do you require? Oh, nothing. I'm fine now. Thanks so much. And then you'd actually don't have to go take the dog for a walk in that moment, or, give him something to eat. Just want some attention. So what if we were to give our boredom just a little bit of attention, not obsess on it, that kind of attention, but just say, hey, boredom, what's that? What's going on?
Yeah. And, it's interesting today, my daughter has sent me a message about something, and she's like, Mom, I don't know what this is. And so I said, okay, well, take a few deep breaths and ask, what is this? And then I said, and ask, what can I do with this? Or do I even need to do anything with this? Right. And she's like, Mom, that's really not helpful. And I said, just try it. Right. But it's about getting present with whatever that is, whatever you're experiencing, and asking those questions, or those types of questions, not from your headspace, but from a space of getting the awareness of what is this, right? And what can I do with it or not do with it?
Yeah. And I love that you keep bringing up that being present. There's a lot of times we're trying to change something, right? And we really have the capacity to change so much, I would say anything, but let's say almost anything, right? Like, okay, that's why I haven't changed it. That's the one thing that I can't change. That's probably not it.
Yeah, we can probably change everything.
Yeah, you can probably change that. If you can think about it, you can change it. A lot of times people aren't willing to really take a moment and acknowledge and be honest with yourself. What is really going on here? What is really up? And allow yourself to, quote unquote, sit with that for a moment and get the energy of it. And what does that mean? What are all the emotions it brings up for you? What's the uncomfortability of it? What's the of it? What is that that's not working for you? Get that energy. And that's what you want to change. You want to change the energy around it. Yeah. Because when you're able to flow with something, have ease with something, and not have to get rid of, but actually get larger and embrace it. Like on our screen, right? We have these screens and we've got all these documents open, but we're not looking at them all at the same time. Click that little line and reduce that screen. And when it needs your attention, it will flash. That's on the PC. I don't know about the Macs, but on the PCs, it'll flash if something's up with it. So give me a heads up before you cause a crash in my life or on my computer, And that flashing is the heads up, and being present with everything that's going on in your life, not concentrating on every single thing, but, allowing it to give you that information, having your antennas up. And that way you do pick up on even the most subtle breeze.
And it's interesting to even realize that we are receiving information from everywhere, from everything, so even the boredom, even everything. And are we willing to question it? Are we willing to get real with it and question it and say, okay, what is this, and what can I do with it, right? And so I've been using that a lot with a few little things myself, and it's like, without going into judgment, without going into anything other than, I wonder what this is and what I can really do with it, because it brings you back to you. And
exactly.
what's right for you and what's not working for you, right?
Yeah, and I love that question you said to your daughter. Ask, do I really need to do something with this? How many times do we have these huge, like, awarenesses of something? Wow, this is really strange going on. This is really strange. That's a fundamental question, especially if you spent more than 5 minutes thinking about it. So, do I really need to do something with this? Is there something I can do with it at this moment? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And if an idea comes to you, then there's a yes somewhere. If nothing comes to you, if it's like, those screens, then not at the moment. Okay, let me know when there's something I can do with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talking to the energy, talking to the molecules. I've got to learn a little bit to do that with my mouth closed because I'm always talking out loud. Even when I'm alone, I'm like, and people walk by and I pretend to break into song.
I love that. And Kass, you are one of the most dynamic people that I know when it comes to bodies. We had Greg on last week or the week before, I forget when it was, now, and he was amazing, and everybody loved what he shared about bodies. But whenever I'm with you, it's like you have this sense of knowing exactly what is going on with my body, and it's like, even when I don't even know that anything's going on, but you just touch me, you put your hand on me and you start rubbing my back and you're like, hey, how's this? How are you doing? And it's like, it's just this gentle presence, but this caring and nurturing, so that you're able to perceive something within me or about me that sometimes I can't even see or am willing to receive in that moment, So I finally went to a body class with you, right, a couple of weeks ago, which I procrastinated and resisted last year. Silly me. But when I finally did go, the stuff that I was worried about coming up did come up. And it was like so much ease, because you made it so perfect. You made it so easy for me to be vulnerable and be present in the moment and be okay with whatever was going to come up. So you have this magic about you with relating to people and bodies. You want to talk a little bit about that, and what is it that you do that makes you so magical with people and bodies?
It all starts with us, doesn't it? So there is a communion, right, is what we say. We use this in Access, but there's a rapport, a relationship, a dance that I have with my life and my body that is not a secret. It's not something I try to keep away from others. It's not something I try to share with others. It's just something that I be. And that doesn't mean that, everything is always perfect with me and my body, right? And my, and even not, so that's not a secret either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when there's no taboo, right? That that's an energy. I'm just going to say it in Italian so I can find it in English. Un comportamento, which is a little bit like an approach, a way of carrying yourself, a way of being, a comportamento, how you carry yourself. That in itself sticks out, I guess, because so many people have so many points of view and so many quadrates is the word that comes to me, that they're with their bodies. And the bodies themselves, they're always communicating with us. So they're not only communicating with us, they're communicating with other bodies. So when a body picks up on that, then it's like, oh wow, can we have some of that? How can you help us share that information with the being that's occupying me?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so that's the dialogue. And I didn't really, it sort of is an oozing into that, recognizing that when I just put my hand on someone, and it's like, so always they're like, oh my God, that is the exact spot where I fell this morning, or where And I'm not like, oh yeah, well, it's because I'm good, it's like that. And I'm just like, wow, hey, how's it, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
And it's talking. The body's obviously talking, and I'm listening, but there's not, I guess, there's not that bridge, that passageway between I talk, sounds, vibrations, waves come out of my mouth, then they come towards your ear, they go in, you receive that, and it goes to the cognitive brain. There's obviously not that separation. There's not that distance. There's not that requirement. And truth is that just mine. Yeah. And so what if we could all allow ourselves to perceive and receive that, right?
Yeah.
Not be impelled to do something about it, right? Because like you said, I ask somehow simultaneously a series of questions. Is it okay to put my hand on this person's back?
Yeah.
Get your hand off my back, right? But yeah, being aware of that. So thank you for that acknowledgement. And really, Shefali, I've got this defect, and it is that I really love people. I love people. I want them to be happy. I want them to be at ease. And it's really not about the people. It's all about me, because if they're happy and at ease, we have more fun together, and I have more fun, right?
Yeah.
So it is something. That's what I would like to do. I just like us to be, having a lovely dance together, right?
Yeah.
So anything that I can be to make my experience more enjoyable, and you, as a consequence, get more joy. Because if you're in my range, and if you're on the planet or in the universe, you are in my range, the more ease you are willing to have and joy, the more I get as well, and I have access to. And so do the plants, and so do the trees, and so do the animals, and so
it's a win-win-win.
Less people honking their horns, while
Yeah.
I'm going down the street,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Unless they're saying, "Hey, baby, you looking good." That's fine. That can...
Yeah, we're okay with that. But
yeah, that's good.
And at the same time, though, when you do work with people and their bodies, I mean, and it doesn't even have to be physically, I mean, we all know that it doesn't have to be in person. It can be just as we are right now. When you're talking, when you're asking questions, there's so much change that happens for people when they are working with you or talking to you, or, being in your presence and just having a conversation even. It's like, it's amazing what can shift and change. And it's because part of it is because you're being totally present in that moment and asking questions about what can I contribute to this person, or what can I contribute to this conversation or this engagement, right?
Yeah. I have a very interesting sight and a vision, right? And in terms of this reality, it sometimes is limited what I see. I see very far, and I see very wide, and sometimes I don't see the peripheral stuff, which is often the stuff that slows us down and trips us up. Do you know what I mean? So that when someone is talking to me, or I encounter someone, or I tap into a situation, and that's what you do all the time when you're present, what I'm able to see, the angles from which I'm able to see it, allow me to access information that they may not be willing to access in that moment. And it's almost like a continual channeling when I'm present with that. And I say when I'm present with that because we can turn that off. We can limit that. We can ask it to be at bay. But when I'm quote unquote working, which is such a joy for me, then I allow myself to access all of that. And also it's not linear, nor is time. So I'm also able to see and test in the future if there's going to be a contribution to them, if they're going to be able to receive it, or if they're going to hate me forever for it. And that hasn't shown up yet. But people can reject what you see,
Yeah.
And you know what? It's just what I see. So it doesn't mean that it's truth for them, but it is an aspect that opens up more to them. And I really love the work. I don't know if I told you, when I first started with Access, and in my youth, I read books, Jane Roberts. Seth Speaks about channeling and Celestine prophecies and all of those things. It's like, when did you get interested in consciousness? Like, when wasn't I interested in consciousness, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I started with Access, it I had hosted Dane and Gary, or Gain and Dari, as I was about to say, in Italy, and I translated so many private sessions for them
Mm-hmm.
with people. And I remember thinking, oh my God, where did they come up with that? I would have never seen that. I would have never got that, right?
Yeah.
But I do get other stuff, and then sometimes they would get it. And it's like, yep, and the same things. So what you, in your unique brand of magic, what I call it, can gift to someone what you see. If that were not going to be a gift for them, they would not come into your class or on your path or ask you for a session. So it's so cool how keen people are when they're like, no, I'm going to her class. No, I would like a session with her. Because something they know
Mm-hmm.
that's going to open up something. What my way of presenting what I see in their universe is going to be a contribution. And there's no coincidences, right? And
Right.
this is not our first trip around the dance floor, girl.
No, it's not.
And so, and yeah, and what now can be different? What now are we willing to be and address? And that's all the time. I've had lots of businesses of, yeah, like you mentioned, that a production company for 6 years in Italy, producing films and commercials and stuff like that. And the day I was like, you know what? I'm going to close this.
Mm-hmm.
This is not really fun anymore. This is not working. And what else can open up? So there's no right path, is there?
No,
There's just, yeah,
it's in the moment, right?
yeah, it's just the path that we happen to be on at that time. And how can we make the best of it?
And I just, Randy, I'm going to get to your questions in just a second. I just wanted to,
We didn't tell them that we can go on for hours, you and I, and we do.
they know.
It was
They
like,
know.
oh, you guys want to talk to? Sorry.
But you say something that is really relevant that I want people to get as a question,
And you can't remember it.
I lost it. I had it, and I was like, it's gone.
Okay, so everyone tap into her awareness. What was that question?
It's not what else is possible, but it's something else. So yeah, so if you guys, oh yeah, what when opportunities are made available, sometimes I go, this is not the same question, but it's okay. But I was like, I forget what the question was. It was so good because I was going to use it in my life. I was like, yeah.
I'll send you the recording. Oh, you'll send me the recording.
Yeah, I'll have to go back.
That is another defect. I just give all the information I have that's up. I just give it. I used to think, oh, well, no. Like I do the 3-day body class. Oh, no, this is something that should come out on the second day, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, where do we think that we have a lack of information, that there's something else is not going to come up in the second day? Let's like get it out now.
Yeah.
Because this is when someone needs to hear it. And
Exactly.
sometimes,
and so somebody needs to hear what we're talking about right now to know that it's okay that you forget stuff. So Carolyn, it was right before that.
I like to listen to them because I'm like, wow, did I say that? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll come back to it. So Randy had asked a question a while ago. Thank you, Randy. How can we more clearly communicate with ourselves and innate intelligence, bringing into our awareness more healing and rejuvenation? Was the first question he asked.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer that question.
Okay.
I'm gonna get ready. It's coming. Then we're speaking in English, which is good. And often we talk about ourselves, but really, there is a difference between ourselves and us. Ourselves are sort of these images and personas that we have invested in and built up, but accessing everything you know about healing and about the future and the possibilities is somehow slipping up in between you and yourself so that you can be, as my buddy, I forget her name, Jeneth says, real raw you, right? So what if you didn't have to do anything to access everything you know? What if you just had to be more with you than you are with yourself? There you go. That's it. He's like, what? Yeah, that's what came up.
That's what came up for you, Randy. I love that because this is about that, and I'm not even going to go into the comfortable distance between you and you, the comfortable distance between you and healing, the comfortable distance between you and your body, right? It's that there's a new tool in Access about comfortable distance, but maybe.
Yeah, and that comfortable distance is having a self so that we have something or someone to protect, right? Mm-hmm. Something or someone to uphold, something or someone to feel for. But who we are, right, is everywhere and is everything. And I had a really lovely, I don't know if we have time for that, but a really lovely conversation with this Muslim woman in Turkey who was asking me, a friend introduced us, and she was so excited. She was like, yes, you two talk, right? And it was like, oh God, here we are on stage, right? Having a glass of wine at a cocktail bar, and then, talk, say interesting things,
Yeah.
So I just love it here. Me and my body are so happy. We were at the beach in Boredom. And she said, you keep referring to your body. Mm-hmm. What is your body to you? And I was like, wow. I said, well, it's my constant companion, really. And she said, oh, well, when you die, or when your body dies, would you get another one? And I said, I said, I guess if what I could accomplish or what I could communicate in advance and be was easier or more accessible with a body, then yes, I absolutely would. And if not, perhaps I wouldn't choose to have one. Yeah, so what are the gifts that this body is that you chose it? You chose to have a body. And how can you diminish that distance to have more comfort than you ever willing to recognize was possible up until now?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, Albina saying wow, because wow. Because I've said before on other calls or other places that I was never really comfortable with my body until I started really recognizing my body maybe last year. Before that it was like it was there. I didn't want to talk to it. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. It had been through hell, and I didn't want to go there, kind of thing. But I never included my body in any conversations. I never was grateful for it. I never thanked it, like any of that stuff, and it's like it was just. It was more of a curse, It's like, it's like, why am I here in this body, and all that kind of stuff. Now it's like, oh my God, my body has been such a gift to me, taking me on so many different adventures and so many different experiences, and always being there for me, always having my back, always, when I have something to do, it sometimes takes the pain of whatever like physical stuff is going on and pushes it aside so that I can do what I got to do, So it's been carrying me, for so long, taking care of me and carrying me for so long. That's like, wow, until I finally started recognizing it and the gift that it is, and that I chose this body to be here,
I just got to hit to say something, whether or not you believe, just based on what you were saying, anyone listening who now or in the future, whether or not you believe that you have a communication with your body, you do. Mm-hmm. You absolutely do. And just that you saying your body making it easier, something that could be uncomfortable, if you've ever changed a seat because the seat was uncomfortable, you've just done something for your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever worn a pair of shoes instead of another because they were more comfortable, you've just done something for your body.
Oh,
So everywhere we think
yay.
that it has to be something, we have to be in this dialogue and, we're always actually doing things to accommodate our bodies. So slow that down for a second.
Oh my goodness,
And
thank you. Yeah.
yeah, we're always actually doing things to accommodate our bodies. And if we were to recognize it, because our body knows it, if we were to recognize it, then that opens up a different dialogue.
Wow.
Or it opens up a dialogue instead of a monologue or I'm not talk to the hand.
Yeah.
Body, talk to the hand. I'm not talking to you today, And
Yeah.
so what if you were to receive the thanks from your body for every time you had a seat when you were tired, right? Or took a long way around so you didn't have to go straight uphill, or, took a bath or took a shower. You don't take a shower just not to stink for other people. You take a shower, sometimes your body likes that. What about a swim? If you're able to do that, or a walk, or knowing when to stretch, or eating, even if So if you're willing to recognize that, then maybe if you're overeating, then those little knocks will come sooner, or not eating enough, or whatever is going on. So that's a whole different conversation, but I did want to
Thank you. That was so helpful because, oh my goodness, because I had been judging myself for not being kind to my body, not recognizing it. And, it's like, but I have. Oh, thank God.
And this conversation, I
Such a
really want to
relief.
thank you
Sorry,
for
go
this
ahead.
conversation because, I've been doing the body classes and sessions and SOP sessions with people and stuff like that. But I know that I've got so much other, the being, the mind, the body, and so I just got that somehow I've been a little bit resistant to being identified as, the body talker, the body whisperer, the body expert. But actually we all are, right? So maybe. So thank you for this conversation. We actually all are that, and I don't have, as of this moment, any resistance. Hi, my name is Kass Thomas, and I'm an expert on bodies. So pleasure to meet you. Mine first. I've got one. That's already an expert.
Yeah. No, I love
Yes.
that because now it's like just acknowledging that it just opens up so much more for me. And, it's like so much more ease. So, yeah, wow, thank you. It's like I didn't
Thank
even,
you.
wow. And that acknowledgement is so huge. So there's a question from Caroline. And she says she's been tough on herself, crying a lot. Can you see what comes up, Kass? So I'm assuming tough on herself, meaning judging herself a lot. And
Caroline, are you Italian?
she says yes.
Do you know what your last name means, right?
Manzo, partly.
It means beef.
I mean, she says it says man energy.
It means beef.
Huh.
So are you willing to be the tender filet mignon? Or do you have to be the shoulder that carries the world? And can you be both? Yeah. We started this talking about, I don't know if we were recording then, when we were talking about the 10-second increments where you can be really tough on yourself, right?
Yeah.
Try this. You have 10 seconds to live the rest of your life. And after that, there's no more life. What would you choose in those 10 seconds? And everybody, if you have access to your keyboard, just write it down. You only get 10 seconds to write it down because then we're going to end that life. So 10 seconds, just chat. What would you choose? 1. And Caroline, please write it down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just writing it too. 9, 10. All right, that life's over. Done. Right?
Yeah.
And now you have another 10 seconds. Another life to live completely in 10 seconds. What is it that you would choose? Just write it down. You can have more than one thing.
Yeah. And, you know, I love that, because for me, it's like the sun, being in the sun, walking on the beach.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
I would love
Yeah.
that.
I just put swimming in the ocean, orgasm, and lobster. That's okay. That life is over. Yeah. Because sometimes we, we identify this tough on yourself. And it may be that you're demanding. Somebody recently called me demanding, and it was really quite a gift, because I thought at the beginning, oh no, am I being demanding? Maybe I'm being too demanding. Maybe that's not nice. Maybe that's not kind. And then I was like, well, actually, I'm quite demanding of myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really willing to show up halfway, right? I'm not really willing to be half present, right? I'm not really willing to treat myself or other people with disregard and unkindness. I don't care if it's people, begging on the street, pulling at me. I'm going to look you in the eye and say, hey, not now. Don't touch me like that. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to dishonor me by not being demanding of me to be that 100% kindness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if that being tough, what you call being tough on yourself, is actually a quality, a richness, and an excellence, a desire for excellence in the world, and starting with you. And if you were to look at it from that perspective, would it be a self-criticism, or would it be an acknowledgement of who the heck you are? Show me the beef, Caroline. That's what came.
I love that. And it's also about, exactly, it's about acknowledging who you are. And even if you're being tough on yourself and demanding, wanting perfection in the world, wanting perfection for your life, or wanting a better life for yourself, there's nothing wrong with that, but then how do you move forward with that, Kass? How do you, let's say somebody wants to create their life and have more joy, more peace, more love, more money, more opportunities. How would they move forward? What would they do?
Yeah, well, and of course you did my Dancing with Riches class also. For me, one of the most important things for forward movement, and we may be moving forward, but if we don't acknowledge it, it's just as good as standing still and moving backwards. So how do you know whether or not you're moving forward? Well, if what you're getting closer and closer to realizing, to having manifested in your life what you desire, right?
Yeah.
Then you're moving forward and you're actually accomplishing and you're having success, right? But that's already on the second, third floor. The first floor, the ground floor, is what the heck do you want?
Mm-hmm.
What the heck is it that you really truly desire? And spend some time with that, right? And a lot of, and that's this living your life in 10-second increments and choosing. You've got 10 seconds to live. What is it that you choose? Many people start that off, when I do foundations, I don't do them that often, but when I facilitate them, I really love that tool of access. You've got 10 seconds to live the rest of your life. What do you choose? right? It's one of the 10 commandments of access in the foundation class. And a lot of people in the beginning, well, I'd like my children to be safe, and I'd like this, and I'd like that. And it's all about this, person, this self that we should be for the world, right? And really, what we should be doing for the world. And really, after you've done it about 4 or 5 times, what starts coming out is what you would like to be. What vibration, right? You're talking about raising your vibration. What vibration you would like to be. And that's the biggest change we can be in the world. So what is it that you, Caroline and anyone else, what is it? What is the vibration you'd like to have more of in your life? And then exploring, and what would I like to do while expanding this vibration? What would be fun for me to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love to dance. I love to sing. I love to cook. I love to have great meals with people. I love to be around folks. I love consciousness. I love, I love animals. I love being out in nature. I love swimming. I love big cities. Love big cities. Mumbai is one of my favorite cities. I'm like, wow. New York, Beijing, Rome, Paris. I love that vibration, and I love the quiet of nature. All of that, right?
Yeah.
So is there it's not about where you are. It's not about what you're doing. It's who you're being while you're doing what you're doing, right? What is it that is important? What is it that you'd like to see and you're more of in your life? And people can name things, right? So she's tough on herself because she didn't get a mark, or she didn't do this, or didn't, maybe. But what is it about that thing that is so important to you that you would doubt you in order to have it? What is that? Yeah. So anyway, so in moving forward, acknowledge what it is you'd like to see. And I say vibration because if you say $1 million and it doesn't show up tomorrow, you're like, see, not good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it that you'd like to see more of in your life? And if it is an energy, check in and see if you're having more of that energy. And every time, even if it's for 30 seconds that you are having it, this acknowledgement thing is huge, because the more you acknowledge it, the more it'll show up. The universe will be like, oh, she likes that. Let's show her more of that. Let's show her different ways in which she's already doing that and being that, right?
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
I think so.
Okay. You want me to read too, or no?
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, sometimes, Kass is saying that, something about Mother Earth, and that's what your energy exudes, that the energy of Mother Earth. So.
Are you reading?
Yeah.
Oh, that was very natural. That was very good reading. I should invite you to readings. Yeah.
And
thank you for that.
Yeah. Caroline is very intuitive herself, and so she picks up on a lot. And but what I was just going to share really quickly was, it's God again, is like for me, it's about experiencing, joy, right? It's always about joy and happiness and love and ease. And, so when you're saying check in, are you actually experiencing those on a daily basis, on a regular basis? And it's like, oh, yes, ease, absolutely. Joy, yeah, because I do experience joy and happiness, yeah, and love, So,
and it may show up different for you. I'm just thinking, I just did a flash of the 8 billion people on the planet, but that's who we are. I really, that's what I know. I know that that's who we are. And life circumstances can show up that don't encourage us to allow that light to shine. But if you are being that, in whatever way it manifests in your life, if you're tapping into that, and if you're seeking that out in your surroundings, that energy, the people you frequent, being on calls like this, listening to Alara anytime, right? No matter what her name is. That being just for an hour, being around that kind of vibration reminds you of who you are. It really does, right?
Yeah.
And it's not easy, I want to say being green. So I'm going to say it. It's not easy being green, especially, around a bunch of great folks, right? So what more green can you seek out in your life, and be around? Listen to this call if it inspires you, the series again if you're on the series and it inspires you. Whatever it is, make that commitment to you.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to seek out more of what brings me joy, what brings me ease. I mean, just check into your body at the moment, right? Check into your world at the moment. How you doing? How's your shoulders? Nice deep breath in, everyone. Nice deep breath out, right? From Mother Earth. Just connect with the earth for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just think about the earth. All you have to do is think about it. It's instantaneous. You
Yeah.
don't have to go through any special tricks or anything like that, right? There is a very important way to do this, and you must train for years in order to do this. Not just earth, right? That's the thing that's all around. I love when people like think of the earth and they like have to look down. But you know what? If you look up, it's the earth too, right? And concrete everywhere all around. So yeah. So what gift can we receive just because we're on the earth at this moment? Boom, already gifted from
Yeah.
the earth. And what gift can we give now? Yeah, boom, already gifted. And what gift can we be for one another at this moment? And our bodies, and our breathing, and our noses. And what about the eyelashes? Yeah, just that quick. Take 60 seconds. Count to 60 and say, okay, universe, show me the magic. That's step one in my book. Show me the magic. Universe, show me the magic. Show me the magic of me. Show me the magic of the moment. Show me the magic that I'm not freaking seeing in these 10 seconds.
Here's Kass's book. I have it here all the time, right here beside my computer.
Cool. Thank
Seven
you.
steps to flawless communication.
Yeah.
I love that. I love what you just did, because what you just did was, as soon as you asked the question, what contribution can I be to whatever, already you're a contribution to it. You don't have to do anything. As soon as you ask the question, you're being it, right?
Yeah, it was so funny. I used to, when we said, can we contribute to the earth on three? And I would be like, 1, 2, 3, going down. 1, 2, 3. And I was like, wait a minute. I don't have to go down. I can go out. Yeah, absolutely. And
It's even
remembering
more
that.
simple. Yeah.
Yeah, remembering that, Dane here has been talking about tendrils of the earth. Every time I just name that, every time I say that, hear that, tendrils of the earth, boom. It's like all in my abdominal area and, moving around, and it's so immediate, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you may not, I get it because, I've been, working on getting rid of anything that doesn't allow me to have immediate access to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I don't, something's wrong, and I'm like pocket putting there or whatever is required. I remember, I used to do, I met access, I used to do all of the various, religion things to get me back to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, okay, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Assalamu Alaikum. I forget what the Amen. I just would be invoking that vibration that thousands and hundreds and thousands and millions of people do.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be invoking it all.
Yeah.
So what is it? What's your key? What are your keys? What are your tricks? What are your questions? Keep them written down in your wallet. Because you know how it is. You can think of 1,000 questions when everything's fine. You can't think of one. And you're like, like what's it? Pull it out. Pull it out. Yeah. Whatever works to get you close to you and back to you, so that you can from there move out and you have more choice. Yeah.
I love that.
real important. And that's, yeah, and that's the simplicity of the 7 Steps book. It's like the smallest book in the whole wide world. And the simplicity of it is about connecting to you.
A very easy read, to be
Yeah,
honest.
very easy read. There's some homework in there if you want to go a little deeper, a little further, or you can, join me online and or live. I'm doing going to Slovenia this weekend to do 7 Steps in Business, and also a 2-day class. So you can find that out on my website, kassthomas.com. Join us, and or somewhere around the world, or just replay this, whatever. Choose what works, whatever works. And
Exactly.
when the time is right.
There's so many different ways to experience Kass again and again and again. So Karen, I do see your hand raised. I'm going to take your question in just a second, but because we're talking about Kass a little bit, just want to share on the gifts page, Kass is sharing a 2-hour intro class that she is gifting to us for 7 steps with money or 7 steps with business. And so please do take advantage of that, because in there's so many different tools and so many different processes, and we go through the 7 steps, right? And you can relate those 7 steps or the information from that class or from that call to every area of your life, right?
Yeah. Yeah, people ask, I call it a prelude because it's just a 2-hour evening class usually. And I do a training for people who are interested in sharing tools easily with people so people can teach it. And the thing is that business, relationship, life, kids, family, work, your body, it all starts first with you in terms of communication and you being cool with you. And the thing that people have said about these steps is that somehow it gives them a level of confidence that goes beyond self-doubt or self-judgment, because you are the best you that exists on the planet. Nobody can do you like you, right? So that's already unique, right? So don't try to be other people.
Just be you.
Start off with connecting with who you are, and then disconnecting from who you're not. And then you can start engaging the universe to play with the energies to change anything.
Yeah.
And then connecting with the earth. So, yeah.
And what Kass just said right now about engaging the universe, that is so important, because we don't have to do it by ourselves. We don't have to do it alone. In the old modality, in the old paradigm, we were doing it all on our own. But no, we can invite the universe to contribute. We can invite our support team to contribute, and they're waiting for us, and the universe wants to contribute. I would say the universe has your back, but you got to ask, you got to talk to it, you got to engage with it.
It's actually impossible to do anything on your own. You don't ever do it on your own. And how much energy do you have to use to pretend, to ignore the elephants on whose back you're riding, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah. It's not, you're never on your own. So why not just open your eyes and be like, hey, let's move together,
Yeah. And when you do, it goes much more smoothly, much more easily. You start asking questions and being present and aware. And it's like, wow, universe, thank you, and that sense of gratitude at the same time. All right, I'm going to just unmute Karen. And poor Marco, he's like, I told you. All right, Karen, I'm going to unmute you 1 second. Hello.
Hey, Laura. Hey, Kass.
Hi.
Thanks for taking me. I'll be short because I know we're at the end of our call.
Hi, Karen.
Hey, Kass. So
nice
great to see you.
You're now on the left of my screen. You were on the right a minute ago. You're magic, girl.
How's it get better than that? I am right now on vacation. I put my mother in respite care so I could come away. And I'm walking my nephew's dog every day. So I'm connected to Earth, sort of, I guess. But I'm still really tired. I mean, my mother had 2 exhausting weeks right before Thanksgiving. She was really, really needed a lot of care. And then putting her in respite care, also, they put her in a triple, which was not what I thought. So she said, at least I'll get to watch TV. And then she put her in a triple, and there's only one TV in the center of the room, so she's not going to be able to watch TV. So I'm kind of concerned about her and not very happy with the nursing home because they didn't tell me she was going to be put into a nursing home. I mean, into a triple. So I have all these things. I should be enjoying myself, connecting with her, connecting with me, and I'm not. So
Yeah.
help.
Well, just one thing, if I can say, don't you have an iPad or something?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Why don't you bring her to some movies?
I'm away, so yeah.
Anybody can bring them to her?
I'm afraid that if somebody shows up that she knows, she's going to think she's coming home.
All right. So you can ask yourself some questions about that, but there are some alternatives to her having to watch a TV way up in the sky that she can have some, you know what I mean? You might even ship her something that she can have that. And you said there's three things that came up. That was the first one, like, handle it. You know what I mean? Get her some make it work. And but the okay, two other ones. One is, just because we're out in the field or with an animal does not mean we're actually communicating with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just because you're walking the dog, right? So you said, so I guess I'm communicating with nature, right? Are you? And who, from whom, or from what are you willing to receive?
There's a limitation there, yes.
Okay. Well, and it dissipates as easy as 1, 2, 3. I live in a house. I love my house. I'm never here, but I love it. And when I'm here, people are like, "Oh, you want to meet out for dinner?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to leave my house. I love it. Come over for dinner." And there's a guy, I call it the only attic with a garden, because you have to walk up lots of stairs to get even to the ground, the garden level of my house. And so my place, I don't have animals living with me, but my sister-in-law lives downstairs. She has 3 cats. They're always lounging in my garden area. And then the way it's a bit on a hill, this area I live in, so there's the back fence of the neighbors is like right, in front of my yard. And there's these 2 amazing dogs there. So, we talk every morning, the dogs and stuff. And I remember once, Karen, I went outside to, just like you said, right? I went outside to, commune with nature because, wake up in the morning and I'm going to just, commune with nature. And I'm like, okay, what can I be and do and give to you, right? And the dogs, Karen, I swear, the dogs, I looked over at the dogs, ready to give to them too. And the download I got, I don't even want to cry here. The download I got, it was like, baby, you need to be receiving. We don't need you to give to us. What about you receiving? Boom, barriers down immediately. And what I thought, I just got a whole new download on what receiving felt like in my body. It was just like, oh, wow. And then I looked again at the trees and again at the flowers, and it was just a total receiving and a nurturing of me. So how much have you been giving, all you got, giving it all you got, baby? And would you be willing to just receive some?
Absolutely. Thank you for that reminder.
And I know you just did. Thank you for receiving that. Yeah.
Oh.
Cool. Yeah. What if it is just about receiving? And would you be willing to not be the perfect daughter? Oh my God. Stop. Mom, I'm working so hard to get you a Bentley to come and pick you up from that place, okay? But until I can afford a private room for you, just hang on there, Mom. I'm working on the Bentley, and I will give you Bentley service once we're together again. So,
Thank you for that, Kass.
Yeah.
Really
Does she have
it.
internet? Does she have a phone? Does she have a smartphone? Does she have internet?
She can't hear. She can't
hear. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantasia. Send her Fantasia. Lots of.
All right. Great ideas. Thank you, Kass. Thank you, Alara.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Karen. All right. So I'm going to mute you, Karen. And I'm going to lower your hand. And then I have a question from Gitu. I'm going to...
Hi, Kass.
There you are.
Hey, so where are you?
How are you?
I'm
fine.
good.
You know, you spoke about this download and talking with animals and you like wanting to give to them. And then the animals told you like, listen, you need to receive, barriers down. And suddenly a question popped up in my head. Correct me. I don't know if it's the right thing.
Wrong.
I
It's
just
wrong. Whatever it is, it's wrong. Like, correct me. Let me get my corrector pencil out. Green. Go ahead, dear. Speak.
and the color of the pencil is green, so that means it's right. It's got to go. Okay, so this is just suddenly I got this question. Universe, give me the download of consciousness I'm not willing to receive with total ease.
Yeah. Well, what if consciousness were an upload?
I mean, I meant to say download of the information because I'm always in question. Am I there? Did I get it? Is it right? You know? So like universe, let me.
What if you needed to upload information? Are you willing to share it?
What will it take? Yes, I am willing to. Yes.
Yeah, you totally did. You just totally sideswiped me. Don't try to fool me, girly.
It's high time. Yes, I am willing to, absolutely. Barriers down.
Yeah. So upload to us some information now. Yeah. Thank you. That
Wow.
fast.
Wow.
That fast. Right.
That
Cool.
was expansive.
Yeah. Yeah. So what if everything truly were the opposite of what it appears to be, right? If I were to look at this from 180 degrees, I love when people say 360 because then you just go back to where you were, right? 180 degrees. If I were to take this and turn it 180 degrees, what would I see? What would I know? What would I perceive? Yeah. Yeah. And don't look too hard for consciousness and don't focus in on it because it's actually all around us. And the universe has an amazing, very cheeky sense of humor. I've had it in the last couple of days, like so on the big screen, a very cheeky sense of humor. So, and it's always got your back. So it's, I know people don't like that expression, it's all good, but truly, if you're willing to receive from everything, even the blunders, will be a contribution. If only to know what you don't want to do again, what you don't want to choose again in these 10 seconds. Yeah.
The funny thing is,
go ahead.
The funny part is like, everybody can see your potency except you. You are always doubting you. And that is what you want to overcome.
Yeah. Well, what if you were the best doubter in the whole wide world? Would you be willing to?
I am.
Yeah. Do that. Try that 10-second increment thing, right? Turn it up to a fever pitch. The doubt, right? How can I doubt myself? What else can I doubt? And then you start doubting stuff that is totally not, it's like, I doubt that these are actually 5 fingers. Like what, you know what I mean? They look like 5 fingers, but I bet they're not. I bet everyone else has 5 fingers, but I don't. Or maybe some people don't. And then, like what else could you doubt? Turn it up to a fever pitch so that you can get it out. Don't blasé your way through life. Turn it up so that you can get it out, literally out of your system, and then move on. Right?
Okay.
Was that your phone?
Yes.
Good. Answer it. Who's calling? Who is it that's calling it now that you got rid of some of that?
My husband.
Answer him. Answer him. He's like, hey.
Okay. Great. So I'm going to upload the information.
Yeah, you did, obviously, because he got it.
Yes. True. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. She unmuted herself. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Interesting. I love that part about the amping up to fever pitch the doubt, especially because I'm one of those doubters, you know. So it's like, oh, that's a great idea, because automatically when you start to do that, for me, it's like, oh, that's crazy, you know. So it's like I would automatically go into like that's stupid, silly, crazy, as in, what am I doing, you know? So
because what if it's not crazy? What if it's an awareness, right, of something that is getting stuck on, you know, on the first floor,
yeah,
at the doubt floor? Turn it up, take it all the way up to the top. What can you see from there? Oh, this wasn't a doubt. This was actually an awareness, you know? Just, you know, that expression, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not following you. But maybe they're following you for something because you know something, you know?
yeah, huh, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have to try that. So amping up, you know, you can do that with anything that comes up. Amp it up, you know, over and over again until you get to that point where you can see it, be aware of it, and then you don't even
And
have to
go
clear
beyond
it
it.
because, you know.
Yeah, and go beyond it, really.
Yeah. Go
Because
beyond.
if you keep it at a lull, like a doubt, and start resisting that doubt, it lasts for days, hours, years, a lifetime. But if you amp it up, and exhaust it, then you have to wait till the next thing to come along to doubt. But that there is space between the doubts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that space between the doubts is you.
And so when you said go beyond it, it's like, oh, yes, go beyond mediocre. Because when you're doubting, you're being mediocre.
Yeah. And also, would you be willing? I mean, how mediocre could you be? Like, could you win a mediocre prize, right? Because when you start playing with it, and the energy of play, and then somebody was saying that to me, that's one of the things that, you know, about me, the energy of playing with the energy, and the energy of play, right? If you're willing to play with the energy, that's the energy of play. And it can't stay stuck to you. And you can't stay stuck if you're willing to play with the energy.
Yeah.
So what have you decided is beyond the play realm? I mean, both my folks, you know, watching over me like an angel watching over me. They both chose dementia, you know, Alzheimer's. My mom chose Alzheimer's, and my father was like, okay, I'll one up you. And he chose this form of dementia, which is called Lewy body, which was like really like strange hallucinations and stuff. And my sister was the caretaker in Boston of the two of them. And we would talk on the phone, and she needed the comic relief sometime. I mean, she took them into a place, and mom started playing. My mother used to be a nurse, so she had this awareness with the kids, and she's all over this kid, and the mother is like, oh my God, what is she doing? And then my dad goes up and is like harassing the guy at the cash register, and she's trying to keep her eye on both of them, and we're just in tears crying with laughter on the phone of this scene, you know, which is, you know, so what is it that you decided, right, is beyond play, that doesn't allow you to have the joy, right, of your experiences, and especially of your so-called blunders. The second time I used that word. I've been watching CNN, British CNN, so I'm speaking of blunders this evening.
Blunders. I love that. No, it's so true. And so, you know, for all of us, it's about, you know, I don't know, we've talked about so many different things today. On the show is like,
to my world.
How do I bring it all together now, right? We talked about so many things, and for me, it's always about, you know, one of the key steps that I learned from Kass was about lowering your barriers, right? Lowering your barriers, being the magic, asking for the universe to contribute to, engaging with the universe. And as soon as you ask, you know, what contribution can I be? You don't have to, it's not a doing. It's just as soon as you ask, you are a contribution. And it's like, yes, you know, that it just like, it's so much ease with that.
And receive. What contribution can I be and receive?
Oh, see, I have to work on that one.
Yeah. It's humbling. It's humbling, you know. It's like, you know, I did this 9 city tour with body classes, right? It was called the Spring Madness Tour. They made a book for me for it. 8 countries, I don't remember. And in the middle, I was in India.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Mumbai. And like the 5th or 6th class, it was all these weekends in a row leading up to Gary Douglas's advanced class. You need to take 2 of these classes. And somehow you said, okay, I've got a successful business, right? And somehow what I thought was success was something different.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, because at a certain moment, there was this outpouring of acknowledgement for me from the people in this class that I was receiving, and that was my success.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to receive and appreciate them appreciating me, you know? So that's really is this simultaneity of gifting and receiving, of giving. I give everything I've got. You know that in my, that's just, you know, what I do. My dad used to say to me, you give everything away to your friends. I was like, is that a problem? You know, is there a problem with that, Dad? But also receiving the gratitude, the acknowledgement, and how enriching that is for you. Like the doggies, you know, outside, they were like, dude, receive. Yeah. What a gift. Yeah.
That is a gift. And so I encourage all of you to, you know, add that component in, because obviously I need to add it in because I forgot it. Add that component in about receiving. You know, it's and the more that you're able to just acknowledge that you are already receiving, like we talked about the body, we're already receiving from the body, and you know, we're already gifting to the body and contributing to the body and receiving from the body, but even from the universe. How many places and people and things are you receiving from that you haven't acknowledged yet?
Yeah.
Right. So that's so wonderful for all of us to experience. Like, you know, during these calls, during the series, are you willing to receive everything that we all are contributing and sharing? Right? Because it's not just about the wisdom. It's not just about me laughing and giggling. It's not just about the questions, but there's even more than that. You know, that is that contributive energy that is available for all of us if you're willing to receive. So would you be willing to receive? Right? Yes.
Yes.
So I know we've gone over again. I don't know how we did that. It's like it was like we just started talking. But I want to thank everybody for your comments and your questions. And I think I missed some wonderful questions, but thank you for them. And this has been so much fun. And, you know, again, like there's always these ahas, and like, you know, that one question that I forgot, it's like, oh, that was a really good one. I have to, you know, I got to go back and watch it. So I encourage all of you to go back and watch it, or listen to it, whichever one you prefer, and see what else you pick up. What else can you receive, you know, from this wonderful call, right?
And you know what? You got it. You know, and then remembering it is trying to get it cognitively, but obviously you got the energy of it, and you know, how much do we, just like let it permeate, whatever that is. And if you do get it cognitively again, let us know.
Absolutely. Remember that thing? Yeah, this is what that was.
I had that very interesting question. There it is.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Kass. Like, you know, I always, you know, so enjoy talking to you, with you, sharing. I always learn something new and get so much from you when we have any type of conversations, because we do have quite a few. You know? And there's always so much more, you know, and like you said, you are always constantly giving everything. And I so appreciate that about you, because that is your caring, that is your kindness, that is your nurturing. And are we able to receive that from you? You know, so can we all receive that from Kass, the gift that she is and the contribution that she is to us on this call and to the world that she's always constantly being. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
So much love to Marco, too. Enjoy your dinner.
Thank you. Grazie. and enjoy. I hope you guys get the 7 Steps call or class that is the gift. Yeah.
Exactly. Go to the gift page.
Okay.
It's all there. Download it and start listening.
Cool. Grazie.
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night or afternoon. And until next time, continue to live your life filled with joy, peace, love, abundance, and happiness. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Hold on.